You ready?
Oh, that's...
What are some common reasons that they're brought in?
Okay, so the majority of the animals we get in, I feel like, are actually orphans.
Oh, okay.
So what happens is, for example, the bulk of our animals in the spring and summer are actually baby squirrels. There's two different squirrel seasons, like March and April, and then there's like July, August. So what happens is that a lot of people trim their trees,
Okay.
and the nests get knocked out. And the squirrels, their mothers will actually sometimes build extra nests so they can move the squirrels to better locations. But the problem is that when the tree is trimmed, she can't move them all. Or sometimes she's not able to come back and get them.
Right.
So we tell everyone, please trim your trees during the late fall and early winter only, basically October to early December. That's when pretty much no animals are nesting. The Anna's hummingbird starts nesting as early as mid-December. It's not common, but it does happen, and we've seen it. So basically, there's a very small window in the state of California where it's ideal to trim your trees.
How big of a role do humans play for the reasoning as these animals are brought in?
Why don't I start with the Virginia opossum, since it's sort of similar to a squirrel, it's another mammal.
Yeah.
So the Virginia opossum is North America's only marsupial. They are considered endemic to California, and I believe they were introduced during the Great Depression. People brought them over in the 20s.
Okay.
So basically, they have a pouch like a kangaroo,
Oh,
and
okay.
they have 13, like every litter of joeys, they call them joeys, is 13. And then so as they get older, they climb out of the pouch and will ride around the mom's back or face and so on. So when they fall off, she pretty much will just leave them. And they tend to fall off a little bit early, and they can't really survive on their own. So people will find them and bring them here. We get a lot of orphan mallard ducklings and goslings. It's more the mallards. So like when you see a mallard, her mom with her up to like I think it's 12 ducklings. If she gets scared and flies away, she pretty much will not come back for the ducklings.
Wow.
She'll just abandon them.
Wow.
So then we get lots of abandoned ducklings.
Okay.
We do get a lot of birds that hit windows. It's caused by us because we build houses.
Yeah.
And there's actually some solutions you can find online, like little inexpensive stickers or screens that are clear so we don't really see them, but they reflect UV light really strongly. So that the birds can see them better. Because a lot of the birds that fly and hit windows, they can see, they're more sensitive to ultraviolet than we are. So basically it's all caused by us, like they hit windows, car accidents, like something happens to the mallard moms in the car accidents, we have to take care of the babies. We got an owl a few years ago that got collided with a truck. The injury actually wasn't bad, like his eye looked terrible.
Oh, okay.
But then it actually was, his eye healed in just about a week.
Oh, okay.
And then he was fine.
It's a squirrel season right now. I found an orphan squirrel and I brought him in here. So what would that rehabilitation process look like?
Oh, fantastic. Okay, so basically, we do what we call an initial exam, and so basically the staff will determine like, okay, let's just say the squirrel fell out of the tree and the mom didn't retrieve it. So they'll check the squirrel for any injuries from the fall. Usually it's just a bloody nose, but sometimes the squirrels are more severely injured. So we'll determine the squirrel needs medication for the fall. That kind of thing, and then we determine once we weigh the squirrel, we figure out how old it is. It'll get placed with other squirrels of similar age.
Okay.
And then so it'll grow up with other squirrels of similar age. First, it'll be bottle fed with little syringes, and then as they get older, as I showed you earlier, they'll start in like little kennels, just like you would keep like a puppy or a kitten in. And then when they're too old to handle and they start to bite, well, we don't let it get to that point, but when they will bite, they get moved to the wire cages and indoors, and then they're fed through the bars. And then once they're old enough and we have space available, they go into an outdoor area. And then in that outdoor area, the squirrels, that's when they run, jump, learn to forage and stuff on their own. And then that's when, after they've grown successfully to adulthood, they get released to an area near where they were found, usually together with a new family, and will disperse on their own.
As far as dealing with animals, especially when it comes to the urban development right now, buildings, running into windows, on your website it talks about how there's a tab dedicated to education on dealing with the public and how they can peacefully coexist with wildlife. Some examples I've seen is spraying your grass with like a chili pepper spray to kind of help prevent unwanted digging in your lawn, or to put a ramp in your pool for baby ducklings to safely come in and out, so they don't get stuck in there and have hypothermia. So what are some more examples, or like kind of I would say just different examples of coexisting.
Well, we mentioned the window screen, like the films for the window screens. We tell everyone clean up your trash. Please, please, please don't leave things out.
Yeah, no doubt.
We get a lot of animals injured just by trash. Animals can eat trash. I don't know I don't think I have any numbers on animals swallowing trash per se, but that is a possibility that I always mention when people bring it up. But we do get people go fishing. If you lose, obviously if you lose your fishing line, but we tell everyone, please pick up all your fishing line and your kite strings.
Yeah.
Because we get animals, there's lots of geese from the park tangled up in fishing line.
Yeah.
And sometimes the injuries are so severe we can't save the geese.
Lastly, the big question is the big why, is what I would say. So we take care of animals that are orphaned, that are hurt. We want to educate people. What would you say, in your opinion, is the big why do we do this?
Well, we do this because, because like as you mentioned earlier, we were talking about how like we basically caused all this by we've reformed the environment by building our cities, building our roads and stuff. So like we're the reason that most of these animals are here. So we're doing our part to give back to our neighbors. It's like a neighborly thing to do, I think.
Right.
Again, we're gonna probably get into opinion here.
Yeah.
So this is my opinion as opposed to like I don't think the Wildlife Center has an official.
No doubt.
And so basically these animals like they're the reason that they're hitting this bump in the road of their life is because we put it there.
Right.
So like we have to do our part to help as many of them as we can.